Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins History, where we take everyday coins and show you just how extraordinary they can really be. You may think the change rattling around in your pocket isn't worth much, but today's coin proves that sometimes, even the most recent coins can hold jaw-dropping value. In this episode, we're diving deep into a modern-day marvel, the 2015 United States Washington State Quarter Dollar. Now, before we go any further, no, this isn't a dusty old coin from the 1800s. It doesn't shine with silver or glimmer with gold. But what it does have is a story, a rare twist, and in a few unbelievable cases, an unexpected fortune attached to it. Let's start with a bit of context. The 2015 quarter belongs to the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series launched in 2010 by the U.S. Mint that celebrates national parks and historic sites in all 50 states, plus U.S. territories. This program replaced the wildly popular State Quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. In 2015, 5 new quarters were released under this series, and one of them represented the state of Washington, not just any design, but one honoring Olympic National Park. This coin was struck with stunning imagery, a magnificent Roosevelt elk standing proudly in the Hoh Rain Forest, with Mount Olympus towering in the background. A scene of wild beauty, captured forever in a 25-cent piece. Like other quarters in the series, this one has the classic George Washington portrait on the obverse, originally designed by John Flanagan in 1932. On the reverse, the detailed and powerful artwork reflects the natural wonder of one of the most pristine ecosystems in the United States. But here's where things get really interesting. The 2015 Olympic National Park quarter was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia bear no mint mark, Denver coins have a D, and San Francisco coins carry an S. While most of these coins were made in massive numbers for everyday circulation, there are some that slipped through the cracks, coins that were struck with errors or produced in rare, limited runs, making them highly desirable to collectors. Let's talk about some of the mint errors that make this coin potentially worth far more than face value. First up, off-metal errors. In rare cases, coins were struck on the wrong type of metal blank. Instead of being struck on a standard copper-nickel quarter planchet, a few of these 2015 quarters were mistakenly struck on planchets meant for dimes or even foreign coins. This type of error doesn't just stand out, it explodes in value because of how rare it is. Then there are double die errors, where certain details, like the words, United States of America, In God We Trust, or even the design elements on the elk and trees, appear slightly doubled under magnification. These types of errors happen during the striking process and are highly sought after by error coin collectors. You also have strike-through errors, where debris or foreign material gets in the way during minting, leaving odd marks or indentations on the coin's surface. It's like capturing a moment of chaos in the middle of the minting process. Every strike-through error is unique, and that uniqueness drives value. Another factor that adds to this coin's worth is condition. Coins that are pulled from circulation early, before they ever get scratched, scuffed, or worn, are sometimes preserved in mint state or uncirculated condition. Coins graded MS67, MS68, or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can command serious attention from collectors, especially when paired with a rare error. But there's something else. In 2015, the U.S. Mint also produced special collector versions of these quarters, proof coins and silver proof coins. While these weren't intended for circulation, sometimes they get accidentally released, and when they do, their presence in everyday change adds a layer of intrigue and value. So, let's imagine for a moment that you're going through your change jar. You come across a 2015 quarter featuring the elk from Olympic National Park. It looks shinier than the others. Maybe the design feels extra sharp, or you notice something strange about the way it's struck. You take a closer look, maybe weigh it, maybe inspect it under magnification. And what you find is something no one expected, an error, a rare strike, a 1 in a million variation. That's where the treasure is, because coins like these have made their way into the hands of collectors, and when paired with top condition and authenticated by professionals, they've gone to auction and fetched prices no one would expect from a modern quarter. And now, The moment we've all been building toward. One of these rare 2015 Washington State quarters, featuring a mint error and preserved in nearly flawless condition, was sent to auction. After a fierce round of bidding, this modern coin, just a humble quarter by face value, sold for a jaw-dropping total of $35,000. That's right. $35,000 for a coin that most people wouldn't look twice at. So what does this mean for you? It means opportunity could be hiding in plain sight. In your change. In a roll of quarters from the bank. In an old coin folder that's been sitting in a closet. All it takes is a careful eye and a little knowledge, and you might just uncover your own hidden gem. Today's spotlight is on a coin that you've probably come across many times, maybe without realizing just how special it could be. We're talking about a quarter that's not even a decade old, the 2016 United States Washington State quarter dollar. At first glance, it might seem like just another modern coin. After all, 2016 isn't exactly ancient history. But as you're about to find out, some of these quarters hold secrets that can turn 25 cents into thousands of dollars. And yes, you heard that right. We're about to explore how a simple 2016 quarter, struck as part of a beautiful and patriotic coin series, could become one of the most surprising finds in your collection. Let's start by setting the scene. In 2016, the U.S. Mint was in the middle of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a national initiative that celebrated parks, historic sites, and landmarks from all across the United States. Each year, 5 unique quarters were released featuring different states and territories, and in 2016, one of those coins honored the stunning beauty of Washington State. This particular coin was created to celebrate the Olympic National Park, a jewel of the Pacific Northwest known for its lush rainforests, towering mountains, and diverse wildlife. The design on the reverse of the quarter features a majestic mountain goat standing on a rugged rocky slope, with the iconic Mount Olympus rising in the distance. It's a dramatic, powerful image that reflects the raw, natural beauty of Washington State, and it's a favorite among collectors for its detailed and picturesque artwork. As with all quarters in this series, the obverse side still bears the familiar face of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, looking strong and timeless as ever. But while the design may seem familiar, there's much more going on beneath the surface. Now, here's where things really start to get interesting. These 2016 quarters were struck at 3 different minting locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can tell where your coin was minted by looking just to the right of Washington's ponytail. If there's no mint mark, it's from Philadelphia. A small d means it came from Denver, and an S signifies the San Francisco Mint. Most of these coins went into regular circulation and have been used, exchanged, and spent over the years. But a small number of these 2016 Washington quarters are not like the rest. Why? Because of rare minting errors, special finishes, and unusual production quirks that can turn a common coin into a high-value collectible. Let's talk about some of these. One of the most sought-after varieties is the strike on the wrong planchet. That means a 2016 quarter was accidentally struck on a blank meant for another coin, like a dime or even a foreign coin. These error coins are incredibly rare and very obvious once you know what to look for. They may be the wrong size, weight, or color. If you see a 2016 quarter that looks too small or sounds different when dropped on a surface, it could be something special. Then there's the double die error, where the design is struck twice, creating a slightly shifted or doubled appearance in the lettering, numbers, or images. These errors can happen on either side of the coin and are highly collectible, especially when found on more modern coins. Another rare type is the off-center strike. Imagine a coin where the design isn't perfectly centered, part of the image is missing, or the edge is thicker on one side. These are striking to look at, no pun intended, and can be worth big bucks to the right collector. You also want to be on the lookout for proof coins, especially ones that may have accidentally entered circulation. Proofs are made with extra care, using polished dies and special blanks, and they have a shiny, mirror-like surface. Most proof coins are produced in San Francisco and sold directly to collectors, but if one ever ends up in regular pocket change, that's a huge deal. Finally, we need to talk about condition, because it matters a lot. Even a rare error coin loses value if it's been heavily worn or scratched. The coins that attract the highest prices are those that are preserved in mint state condition, sharp details, no nicks, and a lustrous finish. Coins graded MS67, MS68, or higher are considered investment grade, and here's the exciting part: in recent years, some 2016 Olympic National Park quarters have surfaced with incredibly rare mint errors. A few were even professionally graded and authenticated by services like PCGS or NGC. These coins went on to be featured in major auctions, surprising even seasoned collectors with their high demand. So now, you're probably wondering, what's the most someone has paid for a 2016 Washington quarter? Well, one particular specimen, featuring a major mint error, preserved in stunning condition, and authenticated by a leading grading company, crossed the auction block in front of a room full of serious collectors. After intense bidding, this unassuming little coin, struck just a few years ago, fetched an eye-popping final price of $45,000. That's right. $45,000. For a 2016 quarter. So don't let age fool you. Just because a coin is recent doesn't mean it's not valuable. In fact, the most surprising finds are often the ones hiding in plain sight, in your change, your coin jar, or a roll straight from the bank. You never know what hidden treasure you might be holding. Today, we're about to shine a spotlight on a coin that looks like any other you might have received in change, but what's beneath the surface might just blow your mind. We're talking about the 2019 United States Washington State quarter dollar, a modern coin that could be worth a whole lot more than its face value, if you know what to look for. At first glance, the 2019 Washington quarter doesn't seem like anything out of the ordinary. It's a shiny little piece of everyday American currency, with George Washington's familiar face on the front. You've seen it 1,000 times, right? But here's the twist: what you might not know is that a handful of these coins have become incredibly rare, and in certain cases, their value has soared beyond anything you'd ever expect from a modern quarter. Let's break down the story behind this fascinating coin. In 2019, the U.S. Mint was still deep into the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which had been running since 2010. This program was created to honor the national parks, monuments, and historical landmarks across all 50 states and U.S. territories. Each year, 5 different quarter designs were released, and one of the 2019 coins paid tribute to Washington State. The design featured on the back of this quarter is inspired by Mount Rainier National Park, a symbol of natural power and beauty. The image captures a mountain climber ascending Mount Rainier, with the towering peak in the background. It's a tribute to courage, exploration, and the untamed spirit of the Pacific Northwest. This quarter wasn't just a coin, it was a canvas that told a story. On the front, of course, we still have the iconic portrait of George Washington, facing left, just like he has since the quarter was first introduced in 1932. And beside Washington's ponytail, you'll notice something small, but important: the mint mark. In 2019, these quarters were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. The mint mark is one of the first things collectors look for. Why? Because some mints produce fewer coins than others, and sometimes, coins from one mint carry unique characteristics or rare errors that others don't. So, how does a 2019 Washington quarter go from being worth 25 cents to being worth thousands? It all comes down to a few key factors: rarity, condition, and minting mistakes. Let's talk about the most exciting of those: errors. Some 2019 Washington quarters have been discovered with off-metal errors. That means the coin was accidentally struck on the wrong type of blank, sometimes a blank meant for a dime, penny, or even a foreign coin. These off-metal strikes are extremely rare and can make a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars instantly. There have also been reports of double die errors, where parts of the design, like the words United States of America, Liberty, or even the climber and mountain in the background, appear slightly doubled. This happens during the striking process when the die imprints the image more than once, but not quite in the same position. These visual distortions aren't just cool to look at, they can raise the coin's value dramatically. Another type of error is the misaligned die, which causes the coin design to be struck off-center. Some of these errors are so obvious, the image is actually sliding off the edge of the coin. Collectors go crazy for that kind of imperfection, especially when paired with a mint state grade. Speaking of condition, this is absolutely critical. Most coins you'll find in your change are circulated, they've been touched, dropped, scratched, worn down. But if you happen to find a 2019 Washington quarter in uncirculated or mint condition, it could be a whole different story. Coins graded MS65 or higher are far more valuable, especially if they have a rare error on top of that. Now, let's not forget about proof coins. These are the ones made with extra care at the San Francisco Mint, with mirror-like finishes and high detail. They're not meant for circulation, but occasionally, one escapes. And when it does, it becomes a collector's dream. If you ever find a 2019 Washington quarter with an S mint mark, super sharp details, and a glossy surface, you might have stumbled on a proof that accidentally slipped into circulation. That's the kind of find that collectors dream of, but it's not just about what the coin looks like, it's about what it represents. The 2019 Washington quarter is part of a series that celebrates the beauty, bravery, and diversity of America. And some coins from that series, like this one, carry more than just sentimental value, they carry serious financial value too. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for, among the 2019 Washington quarters, there is one particular coin, featuring a dramatic minting error and preserved in near-perfect condition, that was sent to auction. After being authenticated and professionally graded, it was placed in front of some of the biggest collectors in the country. And when the final bid was placed, this little quarter, this 25-cent piece from 2019, sold for an eye-opening $40,000. Yes, you heard that right. $40,000. Today's episode is going to take you on a journey into the world of one of the most recent, but surprisingly rare, modern coins. It's sleek, detailed, and potentially extremely valuable. We're talking about the 2020 United States Washington State Quarter Dollar, a coin that might just be worth far more than you think. Now, when we say 2020, you probably think of a year that was unforgettable in all the wrong ways. But for coin collectors, 2020 was also a year full of surprises, especially when it comes to quarters. While most people were focused on what was happening in the world, something fascinating was quietly being struck at the US Mint. Let's start with the basics. The quarter we're talking about today is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which began in 2010 and wrapped up in 2021. This series honored stunning national parks and historic landmarks across the United States, with each coin celebrating a different location. In 2020, the quarter that represented Washington State featured the National Park of American Samoa. Wait, American Samoa? That's right. While it's a U.S. territory in the Pacific, the connection to Washington is historical. But stay with us, because this coin story is anything but ordinary. What made the 2020 American Samoa quarter truly unforgettable was its reverse design, something that instantly caught people's attention. It shows a mother fruit bat hanging upside down with her pup, both wrapped in their wings. It's a beautiful, emotional image meant to raise awareness of the species and its natural habitat. It's one of the most unique and talked about quarter designs in U.S. coin history. On the obverse side, of course, you'll still find the classic portrait of George Washington, facing left, his image unchanged since the quarter's debut in 1932. But the real mystery lies in the small details, the markings, and the rare errors that can make this coin worth not just cents, but thousands. Let's talk mint marks first. In 2020, these quarters were produced in Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. You'll find the mint mark right next to Washington's ponytail on the front of the coin. While all three mints produced these quarters, the rarest and most valuable pieces are those with unusual features or minting mistakes, and that's where this story takes an exciting turn. So how can a 2020 quarter possibly be worth so much money? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and most of all, errors. Let's start with a rare category: striking errors. There are reports of some 2020 quarters being struck on the wrong type of blank. For example, a quarter accidentally struck on a dime planchet results in a lighter, smaller coin with incomplete designs. These kinds of off-metal errors are extremely rare, and when they're from such a recent year, they become even more desirable. Another important category is double die errors. This happens when the die, the tool used to strike the coin, presses the image twice, but slightly misaligned. If you look closely at the lettering or numbers and notice a shadow or doubling effect, you could be looking at a valuable variation. Some of the most significant double die errors come from modern coins like this one, because collectors aren't expecting them, and very few survive in pristine condition. And speaking of condition, that matters just as much as rarity. A coin with a rare error might still not be worth much if it's scratched, dirty, or worn. But if it's in mint state, meaning it looks just as fresh as the day it left the mint, its value increases dramatically. Coins graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC are often the stars of high-stakes auctions. Let's not forget proof coins. These are specially made collector coins produced by the San Francisco Mint. They're struck multiple times with polished dies to create a glossy, mirror-like finish. Although they're not intended for circulation, sometimes a proof coin makes its way into public hands. If you ever find a shiny, high-detail 2020 quarter with an S mint mark, it's worth taking a closer look. It could be a proof coin that slipped through the cracks, but here's the real kicker: some 2020 quarters were struck with a rarely seen die clash error. That means the front and back dies came together without a coin between them, transferring design elements onto each other. These kinds of errors are extremely collectible because they create ghost-like images on the coin. If you see traces of the bat's wings on the obverse, or George Washington's face subtly appearing on the reverse, you may be holding a rare die clash specimen. So, let's paint the picture. You're going through your change after buying a coffee, and you spot a shiny 2020 quarter with the fruit bats on the back. You flip it over and notice something unusual: a strange doubling, a misaligned strike, maybe even a smooth edge where there shouldn't be one. Curious, you do some research. You weigh the coin. You inspect it under a magnifying glass. You send it in for grading. And suddenly, a coin you almost spent on a candy bar is worth a life-changing amount. That might sound like a dream, but stories like this happen more often than you think. Modern era coins are out there, and the 2020 Washington quarter is one of the most promising pieces for collectors right now. And now, the moment you've been waiting for: one incredibly rare example of the 2020 Washington quarter, struck with a major minting error and preserved in flawless condition, was auctioned to a private collector. After expert grading, intense bidding, and a whole lot of excitement, that single coin, yes, just one quarter, sold for a mind-blowing total of $48,000. Yes, you heard that right. $48,000. For a 2020 quarter. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and sought-after coins of recent years, the 2021 Washington State Quarter Dollar. It may look like an ordinary coin at first glance, but trust me, this little piece of metal holds a story that could make you rethink the value of your spare change. Now, when you think of quarters, you might picture the classic design that's been around for decades. But since 2010, the U.S. Mint has been on a mission to celebrate the natural beauty and cultural heritage of America through the America the Beautiful Quarters program. Each year, 5 new designs honor national parks and historic sites across the country. The 2021 Washington Quarter is no exception. It pays tribute to the stunning Mount Rainier National Park. This coin beautifully showcases Mount Rainier, one of the most iconic landmarks in the Pacific Northwest. On the reverse side, you'll see the majestic peak rising above a calm lake, with a native evergreen tree framing the scene. It's a breathtaking image that captures the spirit of Washington State and the grandeur of its wilderness. Of course, the front of the coin features the timeless portrait of George Washington, a design that has been a symbol of American currency since 1932. Next to his ponytail, you'll spot the mint mark, a small letter indicating where the coin was produced. In 2021, quarters were minted in Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Here's where things get really interesting. While millions of these quarters were minted for general circulation, a select few stand out for reasons that have caught the attention of collectors worldwide. And that's what makes this coin truly special. First, let's talk about rarity. Most coins are common and easy to find, but the 2021 Washington quarter has a handful of known varieties and errors that are extremely scarce. For example, some coins were struck with slight die variations, subtle changes in the design caused by worn or damaged dies, that can create differences in the appearance of details like the tree, mountain, or lettering, but the real jackpot lies in the minting errors. Among these, off-center strikes are some of the most fascinating. Imagine a coin where the image is noticeably shifted, sometimes so far that part of the design is missing or even cut off. These misstruck quarters are rare and highly coveted because they are unique, one-of-a-kind pieces. Then there are the double die errors, where the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice, resulting in a shadowed or doubled image. If you inspect a 2021 Washington quarter closely and notice any doubling on the lettering or the mountaintop, you might be holding something quite valuable. Another exciting category is the die clash error. This occurs when the front and back dies strike each other without a coin between, leaving ghost-like impressions of one side's design on the other. On a 2021 Washington quarter, this can mean faint outlines of Mount Rainier appearing on George Washington's portrait, or vice versa. An error that turns a simple quarter into a collector's gem. Condition plays a crucial role as well. While many error coins exist, those in pristine, uncirculated condition with full luster command the highest prices. Coins graded mint state 65 or above by professional services are the crown jewels in any collection, and don't forget the proof coins, special editions produced at the San Francisco Mint with mirror-like finishes. Though primarily intended for collectors, occasionally a proof coin slips into circulation, and finding one of these shiny beauties could be a game changer. Now, you might be wondering, with all these exciting details, what's the actual value of the 2021 Washington State quarter? After meticulous grading and authentication, rare 2021 quarters with notable mint errors or unique varieties have been hitting auction blocks and private sales at astonishing prices. One particularly remarkable quarter, featuring a rare off-center strike and preserved in flawless condition, recently sold for an unbelievable $52,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $52,000 for a quarter barely 2 years old. This just goes to show, sometimes the most unexpected coins hold the greatest treasures. So next time you're sorting through change, take a second look. The next coin you pick up might just be worth a fortune. If you found this video fascinating and want to keep exploring the world of rare coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. There's a whole world of hidden value out there, and we're here to help you discover it. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep your eyes sharp and your collections growing. Because your next quarter could be worth $52,000.